You ain't got a right to tell us how to worship, so let's tell the government to get up out our churches. We ain't choking no more, tell them my hopes in the Lord. The time for speaking is past, it's time to open the doors. You ain't got no right to tell us how to worship, so let's tell the government to get up out our service. We ain't choking no more, tell them my hopes in the Lord. The time for speaking is past, so let's reopen the doors.
Okay, we're trying this again. I have noticed that when I do my trial runs, not live, just recording, the video is glitchy. But what I'm going to do is, if this microphone is still not working, what we're going to do is switch to the internal microphone that's built into the MacBook, and hopefully that will work. So guys, I've been having a lot of technical difficulties, so if you listen to this on audio, the reason that there was nothing posted last week is because it was basically useless to listen to. Guys, I cannot hear my own audio now, so if you could comment, please, and tell me what it sounds like, that would be very helpful. While you're doing that, though, please follow me on Instagram at BroHere'sTheThing and Twitter at Devastator48. Also, I have picked a winner randomly for the book giveaway that I've been doing. We just haven't posted the result because I am a procrastinator. So what I ended up doing, thank you, Katie. What I ended up doing is I have this splitter. If you can see that, it plugs into the side of the Mac, and it allows me to put more things into it. I've pulled that out. And hopefully that makes it better. Hopefully that fixes the problem. But now my computer must be charged to 100%. I'm not doing that because I need to use both outlets now to run my camera and my microphone. Okay, guys, so obviously we're now behind, so we're just going late, I guess. So that's awesome. That's great. Really, really happy about that. Love being late, but that's okay. So I do have a lot to cover. I should also cover the fact that I am still in my work clothes because I went to meet my wife after work for a quick bite as she was taking the kids to Awana, and now I thought to myself, you know what? Me wearing my construction clothes that I wear. This is the hat that I wear to work on my drive to work every day. Everything I wore is 100% authentic. So Carhartts, which is a crazy leftist organization, but I can't just switch brands to a different overall right now because there's this thing called money that I don't want to spend. Jesse says he's at work and needs to watch. You know what, man? You're a podcaster kind of guy. Just listen to the audio. Hopefully the audio sounds good now, you know? The title of this episode, if you didn't see, is based off of, it's just the whole part, based off of Isaiah 5:20, which says, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil." You know, it is nice to see some justice being served. So if you guys don't know, the old company I worked for, it was this one right here, okay? Locally owned in Alberta, where I'm from. And they just got hit with a $31 million settlement, and we're going to bring that up because it's too good not to share. So you will get to see what my old CEO looks like in this shot as well, which is very exciting. She has plastic surgery face, and she looks like a demonic witch. So that's pretty interesting. $31 million penalty for ATCO Electric following regulators' investigation. So this is only one company under the ATCO umbrella. Basically what happened is in Canada or Alberta, it's a regulated utility. You can see that word right there. Regulated means that it's funded by the government. And also, it has to set its prices, and the regulator makes sure that they're not ripping people off. So here's what happened. They've had to pay a $31 million administrative penalty after an Alberta Utilities Commission investigation found it deliberately overpaid a First Nation group for work on a new transmission line, and then failed to disclose the reasons for it when it applied to be reimbursed by ratepayers for the extra cost. So, basically what has happened is, you can find this is all public record. Basically what happened is this company, as it works and goes through reserves, gave a contract to the reserve that it was working on for other work, and basically gave them a contract in an inflated price just to give them more money. Then tried to put that back onto the people who pay ATCO Electric, who get their electricity from ATCO Electric. So basically tried to put that into a rate increase. So they essentially took a reserve, paid it extra money in an unfair contract, an inflated contract, right? So let's look at it like this. You pay someone, and this job is worth $20 an hour. But because they're indigenous, you give it to them for $30 an hour. That's a very small and not very... that's a very small scale version of what happened here, right? And you're paying them $30 an hour so that they just get that extra money, but the work that they're doing is only worth $20. Any other person would have been paid $20. They are rather woke. So Katie says, sounds rather woke. Yeah, so basically, it really does come down to lining indigenous people's pockets and then saying, basically, we just wanted to give them a leg up. That was the kind of stuff that I was hearing, which is pathetic. Right. So anyway, that's what's new with my old company. Pretty awesome. And what really happened here is whistleblowers went to the regulator. And I remember seeing these people acting just, if there was an issue, they could have came and spoke to us directly. These people allegedly did try to go speak to management and their uppers, their superiors, we should say. And it was all dismissed. So let's look at what happened here. An agreed statement of facts contained in a settlement agreement between ATCO Electric. Why? That was just a yawn. ATCO Electric and the Commission's enforcement staff says the company sole sourced a contract in 2018 for work that was necessary for an electric transmission line to Jasper, Alberta. The company that won the contract was co-owned by First Nation in Barrier, BC, and the agreement says one of the reasons for the sole sourcing was that another of Calgary-based ATCO subsidiaries had a prior deal with the First Nation for infrastructure projects that included the provision of work camps on the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion project. The statement of fact says ATCO Electric feared that if it didn't grant the contract to the First Nation group and instead put the work to tender, the group might back out of its deal with ATCO Structures and Logistics and partner with another non-ATCO company on the Trans Mountain work. So basically, it seems like they were worried that the reserve was going to hold this over their heads if they didn't give them all the work. So it's funny because working with this company, it has always been, we pride ourselves on doing the right thing. We pride ourselves on being ethical. We pride ourselves on not being blackmailed. Well, you're going to let yourselves be blackmailed here because you didn't want to miss out on this work. You do the right thing no matter what. But of course, why should we expect anything from a company? One of the only companies currently right now that's still enforcing a brutal vaccine mandate. The rest of their employees will be let go or terminated at the end of April, so a couple more days left. If they don't take their severance packages, they will be released anyway. So you have a brutal company smashing people, hurting them, and forcing them into submission. So why would we think that they would do any better? And so Phoebe's talking about how they're paying over-the-top prices and fees, and you turn around and do this. Unreal. Yeah, so this is all old as well. So I want you to keep that in mind. This has been an ongoing thing for the last year, but I mean, I'm sure it happened. Obviously, it happened way before a year ago. One thing to keep in mind that did happen with those rate increases is that they ended the UCP government ended the cap on utility prices, and so all these companies jacked up their delivery fees and stuff. I don't know if that's relevant or not. Anyway, guys, let's go international now, shall we? Let's close this one. Hey there, I'm big again, because that's what everyone wants to see. Me up close. Okay. Oh, that is not the one we want. We want this one. Yeah, so as a side note, I know I should use an ad blocker. Cliff gives me such a hard time about not using an ad blocker. But you can see what I've been looking at. Reflective vests. Kind of want this camo one. That might be cool. Now, you might find that counterintuitive, that it's supposed to be a high visibility vest, but it's camo. The irony was not lost on me, but I still want that one. Yep, I do. Okay, so everybody was messaging me and talking to me about the fact that the U.S. border crossing arrangement, that all Canadian citizens are blocked from crossing on land. Excuse me. That was set to expire last night. Well, it didn't. The U.S. has extended its COVID vaccine requirements for non-citizens at land borders. Obviously, that's for only unvaccinated people. Sorry. Establish that. In Washington, April 21st, the United States government said on Thursday it was extending a requirement that non-U.S. citizens crossing land or ferry terminals at the U.S., Mexico, and U.S., Canada borders must be vaccinated against the coronavirus. So they are still banning unvaccinated people from entering their country. Amazing. Yeah, so nothing's going to change there. I'm not even going to be going through this whole article. I just wanted to bring it up because it's ridiculous. Cliff is smart. Be like Cliff. You know, it's funny because he did help Cliff did help troubleshoot my mic. I really don't know what ended up fixing it, if I'm totally honest with you. But anyway, guys, yeah, if you thought that this was just going to end and you're going to be able to drive across the border, come on, guys. You should know now. You're trapped. The best thing you can do is hope that interprovincial mandates don't come back, because Canada's a big country. Get used to vacationing local, I think. You know, Banff is pretty nice, but they're pretty crazy. Could go to the East Coast. Also crazy. What do we do? Where do we go on vacation in Canada? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys, but I would get used to vacationing in Canada. Go to the beach. Go to Grand Beach outside of Winnipeg. It's really nice. The beach is white and powdery and amazing. One of the best beaches in the world, actually, is just outside of Winnipeg. It's a crazy thing. But maybe you can visit the snake pits in Manitoba as well. You know, that's a really cool thing in the summer, going to watch all the snakes make baby snakes. Whatever. There's lots of fun things to do in Canada, okay? Remember, still cannot fly or take trains if unjabbed. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're stuck here forever. So, Clifford sent me something disgusting. Laura doesn't like the snake pit idea. Well, look, it's not for everybody, okay? But your options are limited now, okay? So learn to think it's cool. Yeah. Katie says, the problem is people pouring through the southern border illegally. Something else needs to be done about that. Sorry about those who want to cross legally. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, let's, like, if you're trying to cross legally and you're unvaccinated, you can't. But just fly to Mexico and then just walk across the border and say you're Mexican. Anyway, guys, moving on. So another thing that I'm going to say is I have cold listened, or these are all cold readings. I think that's the term you use. Cold reading is usually like a psychic thing, I think, but I think this is the right term for this, where I have not actually looked at any of these articles yet. So what am I on? We are going to close this one and open this one. So check out this disgustingness. These are supposed to be Christians. Did I mention that the theme of the show is woe to those who call evil good and good evil? Because this is a good reminder. This is a short article from the Euthanasia Prevention Coalition. And look what it says. Winnipeg Church hosts MAID euthanasia death. Look at this. An article by Jesse T. Jackson that was published by the publication Church Leaders on April 18th explains that Churchill Park United Church in Winnipeg, Manitoba, hosted the euthanasia death of Betty Sanguin, 86, on March 9th, 2022. So obviously we understand that the United Church is woefully and completely apostate. It has been blinded by liberalism for decades and has nothing to do with the God of the Bible anymore. So let's keep reading. Sanguin, who was living with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, died by lethal injection in the sanctuary of the church, according to Jackson. Sanguin visited with her family and friends during the ceremony hosted at the church. The lethal injection started at 1 p.m. An hour later, she was no longer present on Earth. At 4 p.m., the funeral home arrived to take her body. The MAID death was referred to as a simple crossing over ceremony. A CBC article in October 2021 reported that some funeral homes were permitting MAID on their premises nonetheless, MAID, which is done by lethal injection, is a form of homicide. In fact, Canada legalized euthanasia in 2016 by creating an exception in the criminal code to homicide. Therefore, Churchill Park United Church permitted a homicide on its premises. So, when you have to get an exemption to homicide in the law, you are admitting that it is, in fact, murder. It doesn't matter if this person wants to be killed. You are morally obligated to not kill someone, even if they're asking for you to kill them. And why can't it just be done with a gun then? Why can't you record someone saying, I would like to die and this person is going to kill me? Why can't you have a recording of them? Why does it matter? Why does it have to be this nice, clean, sanitary method? Doesn't make any sense. And this is what basically made me think of this verse. And let's read the whole little section here in Isaiah 5. Starting at verse 20, it says, Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who substitute darkness for light and light for darkness, who substitute bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and understanding in their own sight. Woe to those who are mighty men in drinking wine and valiant men in mixing strong drink, who declare the wicked righteous for a bribe and remove the righteous standing of the ones who are righteous. And I really think this is a woe to those who are wise in their own eyes kind of moment. So these people have decided they know when someone should die. This woman, and I don't know anything about her, but she and probably her family decided that nope, she doesn't have to live anymore. But it is God who decides who lives and dies. If we follow and we track another biblical narrative that I just thought of, think about David and Saul. Saul is chasing David all over the countryside, trying to kill him. Saul starts trying to kill David pretty quickly. In the narrative anyway. I don't know how many years pass or anything like that. I didn't research that because it just popped in my head. But think about that story. And what happens? David refuses to kill Saul. Even though he is being handed over to him, he knows he's been anointed as king of Israel, and yet he still refuses to take this man's life. And in fact, when a man comes to him and says that he killed Saul, David has him executed for killing the king. What does this have to do with euthanasia? My point is simply that we don't get to decide when people die. We don't get to decide who gets to live and who gets to die. And so this isn't a matter of war. This isn't a matter of any kind of battle. This isn't someone who has committed a grievous sin and so a murder or something, and so they deserve the death penalty. The ironic part is that the doctor that did this to this lady actually deserves the death penalty as far as I'm concerned. But in the basically, what it comes down to is you don't have the right to decide that you've lived long enough. And no one has the right to decide whether they've lived long enough or their families live long enough or anything like that. This is a completely unbiblical and ungodly view. And of course, the United Church is taking part in this. Going back to the other topic, Phoebe is saying, is Biden sending all the illegals back then who are unjabbed and trying to get in? Absolutely not. She is now saying that is sick. Yeah, it is disgusting. Canada is one of several countries that now allows you to pick your death. And I know someone personally who picked their own death. Very sad. The man was in a lot of pain. I hope that I gave this man the gospel through a text message to someone else, and I said, please send this to this dying person. I would just really, really like him to read it. It's really important that he reads this text, and then in the next couple of days, he was dead, and it was it's a sad thing, and I'm sure everyone involved believes that it was the best thing for him, because he was in so much pain and he was in such bad shape. And I'm not saying it's an easy choice, but I still believe we don't have the right to pick when we die. Am I going to want to buckle if something horrendous is happening in my life? I don't know. I don't think anything would make me go that direction. I think I would have to use my last painful moments to tell people the truth. And that's what I would I believe that's what I pray that that's what I would do. And in fact, pray for me that is what I would do if I was dying. So anyway, guys, really disgusting stuff. Now, moving on. Guys, you've probably heard about the libs of TikTok stuff. Now, funny story, I had not even paid attention to libs of TikTok until all this stuff went down with them being potentially removed from Twitter, being the operator being doxxed, having her personal information put online, being threatened with death. But I realized very quickly that I have seen tons of libs of TikTok stuff. So we are going to watch a quick section of the Tucker Carlson show, and we'll comment on it so that we don't get hit with a copyright strike, because this is a fair use moment. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing.
It's comprised almost solely of videos of liberals talking about themselves. So the concept was very simple. Find interest.
So this is the issue at hand. Libs of TikTok has almost no commentary. It's just videos of leftists explaining what they want to do. And that's it. That's it.
Interesting tape that had already been uploaded to the internet by the people who made it, and then repost that tape. There was no editing of it, no special effects. There was very little editorial content. The idea was to let activist types describe in their own words what they believe, unfiltered. The woman who created it called that account Libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok now has more followers than the entire population of the state of Wyoming. Libs of TikTok's audience dwarfs the nightly viewership on CNN.
That is awesome.
So it was quite successful, by definition. The question is why, and here's why. It turns out that as repellent as academic lifestyle liberalism may seem to you as an observer,
By the way, I love this logo. It looks like the TikTok logo, but it's all the gender queer stuff. It's pretty great. That's narration for the audio audience.
reality of it, as described by the people who actually believe this stuff, is even worse than you ever imagined. It's really beyond belief, both idiotic and disgusting. It's like watching someone eat roadkill. You feel nauseous, but you can't turn away. So Libs of TikTok found all kinds of tape on the internet, but they found a bunch of selfie-style videos from the publicly available social media accounts of teachers. They didn't snoop.
You gotta hear
they just
this.
pulled what people had already posted. Here's some of what they found.
Oh, of course there's a commercial. Oh my goodness. We skip.
Hi, my name's Az and I'm a preschool teacher. Recently we started wearing pronoun pins and the kids get to pick a new pronoun pin every day. We have some that pick like she, her every single day. And we have some that change.
So I'm sorry, but I just have to say this. Is it worth having two incomes when your kids are preschool age so that this person can do this to your kid? This person can basically groom your kid, and teach them all this stuff about sexuality that, one, is disgusting, but two, even if it weren't, it is way outside anything that a preschooler needs to know. So I would ask, and there's no criticism, there's no judgment here in the sense of I'm not condemning you, but is it worth having 2 jobs and not being in the home with your kid all day and raising them yourself? Is this worth it? It's not worth it, man. I'd rather be living in a mud hut or homeless than have this person interact and teach my children.
So I'm a non-binary preschool teacher, and my kids know I'm non-binary. They know I'm not a girl or a boy. I use they, them pronouns.
This is a girl, obviously. Not really sure why she's rocking the Misfits Devil lock from the early days, but apparently it's a look and it's back, so that's interesting.
In the classroom, we work on it. Not all the kids get it. That's okay. And I go by Mix Gray in the classroom, not Miss or Mr.
If it's okay that they don't get it, why do you push it so hard? Mix? What do they go by? What do they go by? What does this person go by? What does she say?
Not all the kids get it. That's okay. And I go by Mix Gray in the classroom, not Miss or Mr.
I go by Mix Gray? Mix. I would literally... My kid would be going back to school and being like, I'm not calling you Mix. But my kids wouldn't be in that. Right? Only in the worst of circumstances where my wife died and there was nobody else to look after my children would my kids be in a class with Mix Gray.
Man, y'all thought me teaching the children about me being poly was crazy. But not only that, but they also know that I'm gender fluid.
I'm going to give...
So poly. Does that mean polyamorous? You're teaching little kids that you have relationships with tons of people, but also, let's just get this clear. People want to share this person with other people? Like, if you can be in a relationship with one person and this person here, and I'm not trying to be rude, but you would want to be in wouldn't you just rather be with almost anyone else? Just one person? Like, you want to have 2 girlfriends or whatever, right? Wouldn't it just be better to have one and it not be this person? Like, I don't even understand how this person can have multiple relationships. Anyway, go ahead.
Me being poly was crazy. But not only that, but they also know that I'm gender fluid.
I'm going to give you my explanation about what it means to be transgender as well. So when babies are born... Oh my
goodness, so that is a girl.
The doctor looks at them and they make a guess about whether the baby is a boy or...
They make a guess. They make a guess. You know what? No. I'm not. Okay, hold on here. We're going to look something up real quick. Yes. So. Awesome. It's short. It's the short version. It's beautiful. So, guys, I just want to bring this up really quick here for you because I think it's important and it's relevant to the topic. So, we're going to bring it up here. We've got our little buddy here, and you can see he's getting ready to speak in class. Let's hear what he has to say.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Thanks for the tip. So anyway, could have did this one. But the point is, what was normal and clear in 1990 was that there are two genders, there are two sexes, those two things are one and the same if you're a reasonable, rational person. No one is making a guess about what gender you are at birth, because you either have male organs or female organs. You are a girl or a boy. Stop lying to people. The doctor didn't make a guess. Now check this out. For 2 years, trust the science, trust medical experts over and over again. And I guarantee you this person right here is a COVID Nazi psychopath. But that doctor just makes a guess at birth, even though they're a medical expert, right? Anyway, let's keep listening to what this person has to say. Oh.
Or girl.
Kids as young as 3 and 4 are actually aware of their gender identity, even if they
I know that I'm gender.
So when babies are born, the doctor looks at them and they make a guess about whether the baby is a boy or a girl.
Kids as young as 3 and 4 are actually aware of their gender identity, even if they don't have the language for it. To say that pre-K through 3rd grade are not ready for such topics is actually internalized homophobia and transphobia.
So those are the people in charge of tending to your small children's
It's transphobia. Hold on, I gotta go back.
Now, maybe you agree with the views you
I won't do the
maybe
drum
you think
sounds
that
this
doctors just in
time.
charge of tending to your small children.
Kids as young as 3 and 4 are actually aware of their gender identity, even if they don't have the language for it. To say that pre-K through
my kids know that my 3-year-old knows he is a boy. And he knows he likes trucks and dirt and wrestling and building tracks. And his sister likes setting up toys to have a tea party. And even if she does play cars, they're either a girl car or a boy car. And that's all she cares about. So hold on, let's hear this last thing.
3rd grade are not ready for such topics is actually internalized homophobia and transphobia.
Internalized homophobia. Well, call me a homophobe then, because you are a deplorable.
So those are the people in charge of tending to your small children's minds while you're at work. Now,
See?
maybe you agree
Check
with the
this
views
out.
you just heard. Maybe
Check
you think
this
that
out.
doctors just guess at the sex of...
Katie says kids shouldn't be talking about that, though. It's better for them to be innocent for as long as possible. That's just internalized homophobia and transphobia. Get over it, okay? They're going to get your kids. So anyway, Tucker goes on to explain how this woman was doxxed.
Maybe you don't agree. It almost doesn't matter. Either way, you have a right as a parent to know what these people are teaching to your children.
Let's skip ahead.
You're playing? Are you playing? No, I'm not. Otherwise,
No,
I
we're
will
not
call
gonna
the
watch
police.
that. This was a psycho person freaking out on a student. So anyway, basically what happened was we won't go through this whole Tucker video because it's 13 minutes. Yeah, look. Yeah, I said that. Sometimes I think that the lag on this is crazy. Girls can like trucks. I played a little with my brother's old trucks. Of course. I agree with you. My point simply is that my girl, when she's playing with her brother's stuff, it's always a girl car or a husband car and a wife car, and they're always married, and it's hilarious. Right? She has to personify every object. So that's kind of just something that I think is hilarious. Yeah, like, here's a good thing. So I distinctly remember when we would go to my friend's house, who was a girl, all she had was girls' toys. So we would play with Ken and Barbie in the house and stuff, and I'd put him in the car and drive him around. The point is that there's a boy version of play and a girl version of play, and I don't think any of you guys would disagree with that. I don't think you guys are even arguing with me, obviously. Anyway, we won't do the whole Tucker video, but what we will do that I think is fun is go to the Libs of TikTok account and check it out. Let's scroll through this disaster. So look at what was happening to this person. Assassinated. This is what someone sent to Libs of TikTok. Assassination mode activated. Activation word, Libs of TikTok. Target, obviously the person's name. Begin operation. Check it out. So it was reported as harassment. Here's the case number. It's been received. Hello, thanks for reaching out. We've reviewed the content and didn't find a violation of our policies, so no action will be taken this time. You can see the caption is apparently threatening to assassinate someone doesn't violate Twitter's policies, but conservatives get suspended for stating biological facts. This is like a weird thing in of itself. Look at this. This is a great Twitter account you should go follow while you can. Go away. So she just shows people what they're teaching your kids. Massive thank you to Less Prejudice for helping us diversify our library in 306. Looking forward to sharing and growing with these new titles in our classrooms. Sharice's big voice. A native kid becomes a congresswoman. Sam is my sister. I imagine that that's some sort of transgender book. Oh, here we go. Oh. Evan loves being big brother to Sam and Finn. They do everything together. Go fishing, climb trees, and play astronauts. But lately, Evan notices that he and Sam don't look like brothers anymore. Sam wants to have long hair and even asks to wear a dress on the first day of school. As time goes by, Evan comes to understand why Sam wants to look like a girl. Oh, because Sam is a girl. Sam is transgender. Just like always, Sam loves to dream with Evan and Finn about going to the moon together. See, nothing's changed. Sam's always really been a girl. Based on one family's real-life experiences, this heartwarming story of a girl named Sam and the brothers who love and support her will resonate with readers everywhere. This honestly makes me sick. It's hard to even read, honestly. It's making me sick. Brian Stelter just recently said, Libs of TikTok even helped inform Florida's recent parental rights law. If true, this is one of the biggest accomplishments of my life, and I will wear it with a badge of honor. We must protect innocent young kids. Yeah, that would be... If Brian Stelter thinks you're bad, you know you're good. Like, you want to talk about looking like someone who grooms children. Brian Stelter is on top of the list. Now, I'm not saying he does. I'm just saying he looks like someone who could. That's all. Let's see what this lady has to say, shall we? I want to hear it.
You know the body parts that you're... Here's a developmentally appropriate way to talk to toddlers about bodies and gender. You know the body parts that your diaper or your panties or your underwear cover? Those are called privates. Everyone has privates.
Why are you gendering underwear? Why are you distinguishing between panties and just underwear? They're all underwear. Why aren't you using the gender-neutral term for underwear? You can't even keep it straight because your worldview is a mess. Let's hear that again.
Your panties or your underwear cover? Those are called privates. Everyone has privates. Private means that they belong to you and only you.
Oh, man.
In the front everybody has genitals,
Oh.
but there are different kinds of genitals. Some genitals are called a
Guys, I should have warned you or said something. If you have kids listening to this, like, just turn it off. For audio, I'm shaking my head right now.
penis. Some are called a vulva. Others look maybe a little bit like each in some ways, or kind of like neither, or somewhere in between. People with those kind of genitals are called intersex. When babies are born, parents sometimes guess their gender based on their genitals. They tend to guess boy for babies who have a penis and girl
Okay.
for babies who have a vulva.
I'm done, man. I'm done.
Sometimes
That's enough.
parents-
That's it. Okay, I can't even handle it anymore. We got to get rid of this person. That's enough. I'm muting it. Yeah, I'm over it. I got it. We're good. The whole thing is creepy, and she's like a groomer. You know, it just, oh. So, guys, biblical perspective. Let's take a deep breath together. What does Romans 1 teach? Now, I want this to be absolutely clear. God is not going to judge North America for this, right? These people are the judgment on North America. These desires, these acts, these beliefs are the judgment. We are nations under God's wrath. Look, Romans 1:18 says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who suppress the truth in unrighteousness, because that which is known about God is evident within them, for God made it evident to them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes, both his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood through what has been made, so that they are without excuse." So, because God exists and he has made himself obvious and known, every person is without excuse for denying God. They are completely without excuse. No excuse. You know God exists, and you refuse to acknowledge and believe in him and do what he says is good. Now, look at this. "For even though they knew God, they did not glorify him as God or give thanks, but they became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish heart was darkened." So mankind has turned its back on God and has embraced stupidity and loves sin and rejects the Creator and worships the creation, as it's about to say. So, professing to be wise, they became fools, just like Isaiah 5 says. I believe it's 5:21. "Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes." Romans 1 expounds on that. Professing to be wise, they became fools, and exchanged the glory of the incorruptible God for an image in the likeness of corruptible man, and of birds, and four-footed animals, and crawling creatures. Therefore, so, because they have rejected God, because they are idolaters, it says this, "Therefore God gave them over in the lusts of their hearts to impurity, so that their bodies would be dishonored among them. For they exchanged the truth of God for a lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen." So God has given them over to their sin and their lusts because they worship false idols. For this reason, now, because of that, because they love these things, God gave them over to dishonorable passions. For their females exchanged the natural function for that which is unnatural. Seems like all those preschool teachers. And in the same way also, the males abandoned the natural function of the female and burned in their desire toward one another. Males with males committing indecent acts and receiving in their own persons the due penalty of their error. And just as they did not see fit to acknowledge God, God gave them over to an unfit mind to do those things which are not proper, having been filled with all unrighteousness, wickedness, greed, evil, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, malice. They are gossips, slanderers, haters of God, violent, arrogant, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents, without understanding, untrustworthy, unloving, unmerciful. And although they know the righteous requirement of God, that those who practice such things are worthy of death, here's the kicker. They not only do the same, but also give hearty approval to those who practice them. So even the people that are not engaged in this disgusting behavior, this evil behavior, are endorsing it and celebrating it. And what have we seen for the last decade? Tolerance was replaced with acceptance years ago. So when they say you're not being tolerant, which I haven't even heard that lately, but if you're not being tolerant, that's not acceptance. They need you to applaud, and they will force you onto your knees and make you try to make you applaud their sin and applaud the sin of others. These are allies. You've heard that term, right? There's transgender allies. That's the people that give hearty approval. There it is. In the Bible, again. And so, guys, what is the response to this? You are done. You are dead in your sins and trespasses. That is what Romans 3 says. And so, there is good news. If you would turn to Christ today, who lived the perfect life that you can't live, and died the death that you don't need to die anymore, paid the price, went to the cross. God poured out his wrath on his son in your place as the pure sacrificial lamb. He atoned for the sin of all those who would believe on him. Repent. Turn away from your sin. Come to Christ. Fall at his feet and say, I am sorry. Please, God, forgive me for my sin. Jesus, please save me. If you would do those things, if you would say those things and believe it in your heart that Jesus Christ has risen from the dead, you will be saved of your sin. You'll be given a new heart and a new mind to see clearly for the first time. And you will turn away from this depravity and this sin, and you will embrace the Savior. You will embrace new life. Turn to him now. Do it. There's nothing to lose. It's either heaven or hell. And God has condemned this sin. He condemns those who are wise in their own eyes. Stop being wise in your own eyes. You are a fool, the Bible says. The Bible says, turn to him. Give up those depraved sexual sins and come to him who offers you peace, who offers you a new life, who offers you biblical marriage. Come to him now, before it's too late, before you meet your Maker. You can either bow before God, a humble servant who loves him, or you can bow because the Bible does say every knee will bow, and you will bow. Will it be as a humble servant, or will it be as a slave condemned to hell? The decision is yours. Follow Christ, have eternal life. Believe on him. He is merciful, and he will forgive you. And with that, guys, I'm going to end this stream. And so I will see you guys next week. Again, I always want to do a bonus episode. Hey, by the way, guys, one more thing really quick. I am now on Apple Podcasts. So if you use an Apple podcast catcher, you can now search me out, download me, please do that and give me a 5-star rating, because then I become more easily found on Apple Podcast. It is Bro Here's the Thing. Thanks a lot, guys.